Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to restore, maybe with a light customization, this Matchbox King Size number K-21 Mercury Cougar. This video series is going to be a little bit different to what I have done previously. This is a car that I felt needed a little bit more time and attention, and a bit of a change of pace with the kind of 10 to 12 minute videos that I would usually do, with the flashing through, ultimately the taking apart, the stripping, the repaint, reassemble, and the end. So I thought, because each car really does have 4, 5, 6 hours of input into this, and it's cut down to about 10 minutes. So I thought I'd put a little bit of extra time into this video series, and just wanted to really kind of show a true, I guess, time frame on how long it takes to restore these cars. Nice cup of tea there. That's what in my opinion, a real cup of tea should look like. Of course, tea with a little splash of milk and no sugar for me because I'm sweet enough. A little bit of foam here, unsure why or where that's come from. This car, plus perhaps the next couple, I've actually just picked up out of Cornwall. Was there recently on holiday with my family, and we was in the fishing village of Polperro. A beautiful place if you have never visited Cornwall before. If you do, I would certainly recommend a visit during the day of Polperro. The summer is certainly better. We went just a few weeks ago. Of course, we got the children, so in the half term we went down with family, and it was nice to get away. Of course, nice to have a bit of a break. But yeah, concentrating on the car then. So as you can see, we've got 2 rivets on this one. We're missing, of course, all the tyres, but there does appear to have one tyre stuck in there that I can't pull out right now, but of course we'll pull out shortly. A lovely gold colour, but over painted in black. I don't know. Comment down below, do you think I should try to replicate the original colour? It's not going to be the same, so should I then take that opportunity to change it? I'm thinking about the black. A child sometime in the past wanted it black. Should it be black? But yeah, your input down in the comments will certainly be considered. Looking here, this is a 1.4 millimeter drill bit, and to be honest, in the chuck of my drill, I don't know why, but it was always fine until a little while ago, and I think I used my drill to use something. It seems like almost like the chuck of my drill had stretched, so I need to put a little bit of tape around that small drill bit just to grip it, but it's not very good, and I'll show you in a short while. For those that are perhaps less experienced, or like to to run with a bit of danger, I'd say using the vise is a good idea when drilling. You may or may not remember, quite a while ago now, perhaps almost 2 years ago, was it? You can see kind of scarring on my fingers there. There was another car that I had kind of was holding, and I slipped whilst rather aggressively trying to drill through, and yeah, it made quite a mess, quite a bit of blood and all that, but gosh, that was some time ago now. 10 points to the person that finds or remembers that video. Of course, we drilled down the centre of the posts. You'll notice that I did use a little dab of the 3-in-1, the multi-purpose oil, lubricating the piece, of course. But I am finding that perhaps this particular drill bit is starting to wear out, so it takes quite a while to simply drill down all of, what do I need, 5 or 6 millimeters. What doesn't help, as you can see, is that the drill bit, even though I have tightened up the chuck of my drill as tight as possibly can be, as I'm pushing it, just that little bit of pressure is fighting against the car and is kind of pushing back the drill bit itself. So it's almost like I'm thinking, blimey, am I going to drill right through this? But actually I'm not really going anywhere. It's, you know, it's just sliding back down into the drill. But your input as well, you know, what could I use that is better than a little bit of masking tape? As you can see, it's almost like I'm drilling through it, right? Well, actually, I'm not really getting that far. It's just pushing into the chuck again. So, and these are things that happen, you know, on every video. They happen all the time. It's just that right now, I'm usually off camera, dealing with this, probably shouting and swearing at my drill, and thought it'd be a bit of a change for you guys to see it this time round. I, of course, understand if this is not for you and you want the quick and fast action and all this, I guess, slow detail, you know, can be skipped. I understand that. But like I say, just a bit of a change of pace today. I don't think I've put a video out for some time. I don't even know how long now. 6 weeks is it? Maybe longer. I'm actually just looking in front of me, just some of the last cars that I did do after my last little break. But that was for different reasons. And of course I was moving the Matchbox Garage area. But I'm in and sorted now. I've got no excuse other than time and effort. You can probably see a little bit of, sometimes as I'm drilling, I get like a nice little, I don't know what you would call it, like a, almost, I don't know, I guess like a snake, a snaky metal piece as I'm drilling, and I think, oh, I'm really getting somewhere. And then I take a look and I think, blimey, I must have barely scratched the surface. Where had all this metal come from? It must be so thin. But eventually, you know, we get the holes deep enough, and we are now switching to the 4mm. So the smaller one to drill down the center of the post is a 1.6, and then the drill bit to remove the flange, I use a 4mm. I like to go slow. What I'll find is that, you know, if I try and take it, you know, I guess the first half off, give it a little tap, have a little look. Of course, you can keep going, take off a little bit more and a little bit more. What you can't do is put it back. there has been a time where perhaps I've been distracted, or especially some other brands where it's a bit of a nightmare. But or if it's got a, say, a plastic base, for example, where, or even if you just kind of blast the drill a bit too fast, and then you take it too far, and then you can end up drilling all the way through, and you've got nothing for the screw afterwards to seat, or to, you know, hold the base to the casting. So a little extra care at this time is can go a long way. Looks like this is just a little bit extra on the side there. And I think that'll just about get it. All this metal that comes off, surprising really. You know, you're only taking a tiny little bit of metal off, but when it's in this form, I guess it certainly looks more than what it really is. Now, normally I would just sweep it onto the floor, but trying to keep the station here a little bit tidier, I shall scoop that up afterwards and put it into the bin. So bringing out the tap here, I've got like a T-handle, which has got quite a nice weight to it. A couple of these things have got tape, just ultimately because I have the black mat there. So just so that I can see it and you can see it, I just put that tape on just to... So when I, you know, what's that, quarter of a turn, perhaps half a turn, and then with, you know, to kind of, for me to kind of say what kind of pressure it is, I guess it's time and experience. You will know, but just, you know, a good amount of pressure, because obviously not enough, and it just won't start to go in too much, and then you'll just break something, damage. Same again with how far you go in. I like to go with a few turns, maybe then kind of take half a turn back and then go in a little bit extra. But certainly, you know, consider how deep you've gone. One of the things that you certainly don't want to be doing is overly kind of tapping, because, you know, there's been times certainly in the past where I would keep going and say until I hit the bottom. But you don't want to go all the way to the bottom, because if you do go to the bottom and then you just give it another quarter turn, of course, where is it going to go? It can't keep going. What it will do is just pull all your threads out, and ultimately you've just now got a larger hole to for your screw that's just going to fall in. What I like to do is try and, I guess, tap at least 3/4 of it. The screws that I use laptop screws. They themselves, even without this tap, you know, they're kind of like self-tap, I guess, in a way. Although you do need a really good bite on your screwdriver. This just gives it that little bit of help. And I think if I go 3/4 of the way and then let the screw itself just tap the last remaining quarter, I know it's going to be a good snug fit. So now that we are all drilled, removed, tapped, we are ready to go. Using the screwdriver there, just a nice little pop. You know, I'm not putting on too much pressure to remove that. If I was trying to, perhaps, you know, say if I hadn't removed enough flange and I was trying to force that off, I'm going to bend something and something will break. rear suspension there, you'll see that it was off to one side. So these rear wheels were probably either never, or certainly not in the recent past, had any suspension to them. So just a tiny little adjustment there, so that going forward that'll have some actual suspension. Of course, we've got the nice little mechanism at the front there, plastic, allowing us to turn the wheels. I'm trying to be very gentle. Removing this plastic, of course, older plastic becomes brittle. Thankfully, this hasn't. So we can pop this off and reuse this after, you know, it's all painted and polished and for the reassemble. There's a rollover post here. We'll just remove the flange. I don't want to remove too much. I still want this to be able to, you know, push back on and have a good seat later on. I will of course use a little dab of super glue, I'm sure, but just gently massaging this over the post. Again, not knowing how, I guess, or not, you know, it could be brittle at one end more than another. So I'm just trying to, of course, ultimately just be careful. Take my time. And there we are. So that's one piece that'll remain standard. And you can see there, that'll pop back over. So I'll just put that up just so I don't lose it. A few bits there for the caustic soda later on. That'll be in the next video. We've got the one remaining old tyre. Unfortunately, it does have quite a large split in there, which is a shame. I may still use this one, perhaps with a little dab of glue, and try and find 3 other replacements. I don't have them to hand right now, but hey, I've got a couple of thousand castings and I've got some spares. I'm sure I'll find a few tyres that'll suit. There's some kind of substance in here alongside the black overpaint. Not too sure what it is. It's almost like a drink or some food or something pretty grimy. Another rollover post there, holding in the window section. As I say, we do have a little crack in the front window to the side. I don't have a replacement, so we will be reusing this. So I need to be very careful and preserve what we have left, polish it up. Perhaps I'll use the floor polish. I can't even remember, what is it? It's the Pledge Revive It. I haven't used that for probably a year now, maybe longer. 10 points to the person that knows the last time I used that and what video that was for. But I've certainly still got it. I'm looking at the jar of it to one side, so maybe we'll use that. Me breaking up this video into sections, I don't know how many parts it'll be perhaps 3 or 4, but it kind of gives me the time to really, go to town for every single piece. A nice little pop there, thankfully no breakages, and I think you'll agree that will pop back on quite nicely. But yeah, this grime, don't know, what do you think it might be? Like a rusty Coke, rusty cola? Don't know. I'm looking at the front grille here, and also the doors. Now, there's a lot of time where I would leave the doors on, but again, this video is a little bit different, and it allows me that little bit of extra time to go the extra step. And this has like a bar underneath that is holding the doors in position, and a couple of rollover posts are needed to be removed, and then I will tap, drill and tap these in order to take it off, and also paint the doors separately. Ultimately, to be able to paint the doors individually and then have the main body of the casting free of the doors to get in all the, of course, the door gaps and nooks and crannies, it's ultimately going to give me a better result. Yeah, the smaller drill bit, just I think needing a fresh run of tape, which I have now done off camera. The only thing I've done off camera actually is just to drill and tap those ready. But removing the flange there just for the sake of the video, because I did have to run around and try and find that tape. And this has been just one take. Not only one take with the video, but one take with the little voiceover after. Unless I screw up in the next, I don't know what it is, 4 minutes? Surely not, surely not. So now we have the doors there separate. I'd like to perhaps detail these doors, or the inside of the doors. But like I say, if I'm going to detail the inside of the doors, then why not just go full custom? But your comments down in the section below, of course, will be considered what you want to see. Another rollover post here to keep the front grille in place. I'm sure that'll polish up nicely. That reminds me, I need to find my polishing wheel. Haven't used that for a good 6 months, I think. I need to find it, maybe find a base. If you remember rightly, the last time I used it, and I kind of sat it inside my what do you call it? The paint booth. It was moving around, so I've actually got some wood that I could probably attach it to a base now. But anyway, knowing that this metal is very soft, you can see there that I was being very very cautious trying to get this out, not trying to bend it. But a nice bit of detail in that grille with the front headlights and the bumper, of course. And I think that if I could get that polishing thingamajig down, that'll come up real nice. But yeah, so we've got of course, the base there. I don't know what this is underneath. It can't be rust. I think it's maybe some crud that's built on, but I'm sure that'll come off. So we've got all the bits and pieces here. Those two bits that I was just hiding away, which I'll put back. But yeah, please do keep watching this little mini series. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back very shortly with the next one. Cheers, guys.